Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Losses Above Replacement, the best baseball podcast to grace your ears. I am today's host, Alex Clark, joined by our very own opening day reserves in Matthias Kurosaki and Ryan Splash Potts, my main men. It is a rainy Monday afternoon here on the Pacific Northwest. How's it doing over for you guys?
I'd say I'm doing pretty well. I got back from Florida on Saturday night. Spent a few days on my first ever trip to spring training, which was a lot of fun. Got to see some fun baseball. I got to see Giancarlo Stanton hit 3 homers in a game. Granted, I missed the third one because I got up to get food. I'll just admit that now. I also got to see an Orlando Magic game. So I'm supposed to go to my first home opener or first opening day in 16 years. The last home opener I attended was the last one at Shea Stadium in 2008. So that's supposed to be on Thursday, but there's an 80% chance of rain, so it's probably going to be Friday. But yeah, I'd say I'm doing all right.
Orlando Magic, Orlando Magic,
Magic game was
Orlando
so fun,
Magic.
by the way.
Yeah, how are you guys doing? I'm actually on vacation. My family is upstairs eating hot dogs and hamburgers, probably wondering where I am. So, family, when you're listening to this tomorrow, I'm on the second level of the complex we're staying in. So, hope you guys are doing all right.
I appreciate you taking the time out for our podcast today.
Do
But no,
appreciate that.
I'm doing all right overall. I love the fact I've actually gotten to watch a little bit of baseball. Big shout out, by the way, to Mariners person Kevin Martinez for putting on games online for the last 2 days, and we'll also have the 2 exhibition games today and tomorrow en route as well.
Kevin is a
But
Syracuse alum, by the way.
is
So
he?
shout out to Kevin.
Let's
Yes.
go! All right. No, I love Kevin Martinez. He is a
Yeah,
bona
he's
fide
awesome.
legend. And Kevin, if you're listening to this, you're a legend. Thank you so much for everything you do. And if you ever want to come on the show, you are more than welcome.
Let us know.
All right, but we're gonna get to a little bit of not as happy news to get things started, as much as we want to keep going. Which, by the way, I do want to say one more thing. This is our 69th episode, so I obviously have to say nice, but we're gonna backtrack a little bit here. And there's been news that broke about a week or so ago, not very long ago, where involving Shohei Ohtani and his interpreter. Here, I'm pulling up the name, making sure here of Ipe Mizuhara. I want to make sure I'm saying that right.
Yes.
But yes, thank you very much. Where the interpreter has been stealing money from Ohtani's bank account and has paid off a lot of his own debts using Ohtani's money. So we normally would not talk about this kind of story on our podcast. Normally we try to keep it fairly light. But now that more details have come out about it, it's time that we could talk about it a little bit. Especially with Ohtani earlier today having a press conference to finally address and talk to the media. He did not answer questions, but he did read a prepared statement. So to give a little bit more details on it, he held the news conference today. 5 days ago, Mizuhara was fired by the Dodgers following the reports, and the ties from Mizuhara to the bookkeeper for it are well over $1 million taken from Ohtani's account. Ohtani said, "I'm very saddened and shocked someone whom I trusted has done this. Ipe has been stealing money from my account and has been telling lies. I've never bet on sports or have willfully sent money to the bookmaker." This story is insane to me, right? Looking at this entire angle from it, the whole idea is that his interpreter has been taking funds from Ohtani to bet on sporting events as well as to cover his own previous gambling debts. There's also other reports came out, which again, by the way, I've not gotten to fully fact check. If someone else has, please tell me. But where this is not a new thing from Ipe, where he has been lying in a lot of different ways, including when they were with the Angels. You're saying that he went to UC Davis or Riverside?
UC Riverside.
Thank you. UC Riverside, and has never gone there. There's no records. UC had been contacted about it, and he has not been there at all. So the fact that something like this has continually been happening, and there's been more and more details that have been coming out, I'll say right now that I think Ohtani is being legitimate here, but I do need to say one thing on this, and this is, I don't know, maybe I might get some flack for this. I don't know. I know that after you reach a certain amount of money, it just becomes a number to you at that point. It doesn't have really any real meaning because you have everything you need. And with the amount of money that Ohtani makes through his contract, through other sponsorships, endorsements, all that kind of stuff, that number barely means anything to him. So I can understand how it wouldn't, have that much of an effect. But how do you not notice that number that's constantly going up goes down if you're not the one doing it? I'm not gonna claim like gross negligence on Ohtani, but at the same time, you have to keep a better eye on it, right? Like, if for any of us, if we notice that, like, say, a couple $100 were out of our account, we would notice. We would notice immediately, and because of how much it means. For a guy like Ohtani, where $1 million may not be a ton, it's still over $1 million that are out. What are your guys' take on this right now? Like, again, this is very sad news for the baseball world, especially for a player that is pretty universally loved in Shohei Ohtani.
So my first takeaway was thinking about when I make transactions, when I use my Discover card, if I have any transaction over $50, I get a text message, right? And if I pull more than $100 out of my like credit union bank account, I get a text message, I get an email. Obviously, Shohei probably doesn't care about $50 here or there, but I'm just wondering how you like avoid, like how did you not get notified? That's beyond confusing. Two, I'm not going to pretend to know all the ins and outs of the story. I'm just letting it like exist. But I will say, people that are either attacking Shohei or defending Shohei and saying, "Oh, Shohei wouldn't do this," or "Shohei definitely would do this." You don't know Shohei. You are not Shohei's friend. Celebrities are not your friend. You do not know celebrities. They can do things in their own time that you have no idea about. Shohei Ohtani married a woman and didn't tell anyone. He can hide a gambling addiction if he had one, or he might not have one. It can go both ways. I tweeted this on the LAR baseball account the other day that you don't know celebrities, man. Like you can assume, but you don't know celebrities. So that's the extent that I'm going to talk about this.
I mean, yeah, to your point, that's the thing. Is Otani, I feel like, is a very private person. Like you said, none of us knew that he even had a girlfriend, for that matter. People had always wondered about that, and we just found out. But with regard to this is a disaster, really, for the sport. You know, the whole thing is, I think, now that we know that Ipe is not just lying about the finances, but the fact that he never went to UC Riverside supposedly. He also had said he previously worked as an interpreter for the Red Sox. He never did that either. Um, I it's just I'm shocked really. It's he was kind of a celebrity in his own right. He felt like everyone knew who he was, and now he's the bad guy in this situation. Now, I obviously have questions about how he somehow got 4.5 million to his account, and how Shohei did not know until the first game after the first game of the series in Seoul. So that's my one question: is how did Shohei not get notified before last week? I feel like his legal team should have at least told him, and also that Ipe gave a 90-minute interview to ESPN, and now we're wondering if that may have all been lies. Apparently, he said that Otani's people had said that yes, he had lent him the money. That being said, here's the other thing: is that maybe he did. If he did lend him some money, I don't know how that little maybe all right, maybe he lent him some money, but 4.5 million. I don't know if that's something you just simply lend someone. I understand that someone pointed out that to him it's like if someone with $10,000 in their account lost $64. So yes, it's not a huge amount to him, but still, that's a lot of money, and I think this is a terrible situation. And who knows where this investigation is going to go.
Yeah, right now we don't know. Again, all of this is there's been no court rulings, there hasn't been any official. So all we're getting right now are the he said, she said type stuff, as well as just other reports that are coming out.
And also,
Again, right? Yeah.
Ohtani said that he will cooperate with the entire investigation, so
Mhm.
we'll know more stuff probably in the coming months.
Yeah, and MLB is already like you were just alluding to right there, has gone into a formal investigation. So we will know more hopefully soon. Um, Although, like, again, with the other news that has come out about Ipe and about what the things that he has been not truthful about, it does put him in a bad light. We unfortunately cannot say, like, we really can't say anything on it yet. Until more full details come out and there is an official ruling about what has happened, we can't say much. And the only real thing that we can say on it is this is just a bad omen before the season, right? Like, the MLB season is set to start, like, really start
For
in a couple
Ohtani,
of
it already
days.
started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I'll say is that there was the Soul Series where the Padres took on the Dodgers, but now like the rest of Major League Baseball will be starting on Thursday. And having this, like, we all should be getting excited. We should all be getting ready. And then there's just this big news report that comes out where it's actually dividing a lot of people as well. Like, people that are saying, oh, Otani's innocent. Some people are saying, oh, Otani's been a massive gambler. All that. All I want to say to this right now, and to the people that are talking about this, let the facts come out first. Let the investigation happen first. Once the details and the truth has come out, then we can make the court of public opinion. Don't let any of that come in through, because until we know more, we could just be throwing out false accusations. Am I defending either side? Absolutely not. What I am saying is, let's learn a little bit more before we actually just go and wildly say some things. And speaking of wildly saying things, it is now time for our award and standings for the American League. Last week, we did the National League. Sorry for that transition. I just felt it worked.
No,
But
it did work, I think.
good. I'm glad. I want to make sure that we were giving the serious out of the way. And then now let's at least have a
Yeah.
little bit of fun as we get to do something that all baseball fans like to do, pretend that we know everything and predict everything from before the season even starts. So we are just like last week. We are going to go through our divisions in the American League West, Central, and East here, and then afterwards we will say our MVPs, our Rookies of the Year, our Cy Young Award winners, our Most Improved Players, and our one of our own special awards, the Slow Award for the fastest Major League player. So, with all that being said, you know what? It's me. So let's start out with the American League West here. So I'll tell you what, let's start out with Mac. Here, Mac, tell me, who do you have in the American League West?
So I'll say that the bottom two spots were easy. I'm
Yep.
sorry to A's and Angels fans, but the A's are coming in fifth. The Angels are coming in fourth. Not a lot to get excited
Yep.
about there. Yeah, I'll give the A's this. Zach Geloff is probably going to be a very good player. I like watching him play second base. He's a good hitter. And the Angels have Mike
I mean, we
Trout.
won't know. We won't know anything about how the fans like Galoff or some of the other stars, considering that every one of their comments are their posts are put with comments disabled. Never know, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's the issue. But the Angels have Mike Trout. I mean, he could have a bounce back year. I think he will have a bounce back year. It's funny because his down year wasn't even that bad, but by his standards, it was. So that's what I'll give you
I
about the
want
A's and
another full year of
Angels.
Trout. He's so good.
Oh, same, 100%. I love
Like,
watching him play. He's one of my favorite players. Um,
I just love
but
watching him play when the other team on the other side is not a Mariner
not
jersey.
the Mariners. Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt about Chipper Jones and Ryan Howard,
Yep,
and I could go on
exactly.
for Bryce Harper.
Yep.
And then okay, so I'm going to move on from that because the top three teams I think are all very good. I'm going to go third place the
Mm-hmm.
Rangers. As I think the
Mm-hmm.
Rangers lineup is insane. It might be the best in the sport. I think it's the best in the American League. I'll tell you that much. So especially now that they're going to have Wyatt Langford on the opening day roster, that man tears the cover off the ball. My concern here is that pitching staff. You have Nate Eovaldi, but Jordan Montgomery hasn't signed yet. He probably isn't re-signing at this point. Max Scherzer is out until July, supposedly. We don't know if Jacob deGrom will pitch this year. So it's, Andrew Heaney, Dane Dunning, John Gray, those types, who I'm not saying are bad pitchers, but I feel like they don't necessarily have a true ace. Eovaldi hasn't really pitched many full seasons. So that's why I have them in third. I do like their acquisition of David Robertson to be their closer or of some sort, him or Leclerc. But the pitching staff is what's holding them back. That being said, I think the Rangers are a playoff team. I have Mariners in second. I really like the offseason they had, actually. They salvaged it after kind of a rocky start. I really like the Jorge Polanco pickup. Mitch Garver, I think, is a very good DH. And also Mitch Haniger. I know it's only spring training, but he's looked like Mitch Haniger so far. Maybe going back to Seattle will work. That pitching staff, I think, is the best in the game. Bullpen, even with Matt Brash and Gregory Santos down, I think it's very good. So I have them in second, but coming in first, the Astros, I just think, are the most complete team in the division. Adding Josh Hader to that already very strong bullpen, very good lineup overall. Alex Bregman's in a contract year, so watch out. And that pitching staff, they're going to get Verlander back early in the season. It's a solid all around rotation. It's not as good as the Mariners, but I think overall the Astros are the most complete team in the division. So they're winning the West, but I think both the Mariners and Rangers make the playoffs.
Okay. All right, Splash, what are your take on this? I saw you were kind of just shaking your head a little bit over there. I have a feeling you're going to say some things that might anger both of us, but let's see what you got.
Okay. Oakland in fifth. Okay. I'm intrigued to see how often Estuary Ruiz runs. Brent Rooker is a national treasure. Zach Geloff, good at baseball. I believe Miguel Andujar is now injured, but he had been carrying up spring.
Yeah.
Fourth place, Angels. Mike Trout, I think he's going to have a normal Mike Trout season. I think he's going to finish top 10 in MVP voting again. Also, watch out for Patrick Sandoval, hopefully. The top three. My prediction, the Seattle Mariners will have the best record in the American League as of the All-Star break. But they'll be watching the playoffs from home. They'll be watching the playoffs from home. They will be the seventh. They will be the seventh seed. I have Seattle in third, Houston in second, Texas in first. I think Texas, you get the DeGroms, the Scherzers, the Mollies back in the second half of the season. I think that's a team to be reckoned with. You bring up Wyatt Langford, and you have Evan Carter. And that lineup is going to give you 1 through 9 every single day. I think Houston is also primed to have a nice season. They're going to be a lot better than they were at home. Last year, they were below 500 and, of course, got reverse swept kind of in the ALCS, losing all 4 games at home. I think Jose Abreu is going to have a nice season. Jeremy Pena is going to have a nice season. You're going to have not walk years for Tucker and Valdez, but I think they'll be big years for them. And I have a certain player on the Astros who I think will have a monster season. I'll get into him in a little bit, but Texas first, Houston second, Seattle third, LA fourth, Oakland fifth.
That's Splash. Why do you make me feel sad? Like, just all the time. Why do you make me feel sad?
You could ask the Mariners the same question.
Look, I hate that you're right on that, though. No, I mean, I will say I will never forgive you for making another potentially one game out of the playoffs bid here again. So, all right, get the easy out of the way here. Oakland fifth, Angels fourth. I mean, you're comparing at this point a soggy grape to a mushy apple. Like, there's not a whole lot there for both sides. I want Trout to be good.
Okay, I do want to say Nolan Shanwell, please bat leadoff, and then Trout can drive him in 140 times. Please.
That is true. Very true.
Yeah, very true.
Also the Angels. I mentioned this the last time. I think the Angels are going to run a lot. I think they're going to go first to third. They're going to steal bases. They should be much more exciting to watch than they have been the last few years, even though they don't have a certain number 17 for the Dodgers.
Fair enough. Yeah, I just don't think either of them have really that much to work with at this point, unfortunately. Especially with, in my opinion, the American League West is one of the most interesting divisions because of the divide between the top 3 and then the bottom 2. The top 3 is a dogfight for number 1. So now we're going to get into my picks for the top 3 of it. Finishing third in the division will be the Texas Rangers. The Texas Rangers, everything you both said is correct. everything you guys have both said has been correct about the Rangers. They have such a good lineup here. They have such a good depth chart. Like just looking up and down, the bullpen has some interesting good names. Jose Leclerc is there. David Robertson, Kirby Yates could even have a good bounce back season on there. And then even Michael Lorenzen is there to do some stuff. As well as, again, the big thing is that their lineup is just so good. Jonah Heim behind the dish, Lowe at first, Simeon, Seager, all that fun stuff. My problem with them is starting pitching. And starting pitching, I have seen will carry a lot of teams, and their starting pitching has more question marks here than a pub quiz. Like, that's what I'm worried about when it comes to them. Like, yes, guys like Eovaldi, Gray, Heaney, DeGrom, Scherzer are good. DeGrom and Scherzer, your top two, at least named guys, are... You don't know if they're even going to play. You really don't know. Like, they've had such bad injury history over the last few years, not even just last year, last few years, that you can't rely on them. You get rid of those, and then it starts getting pretty weak. What, your opening day starter is going to be John Gray? Nathan
No, it's going to
Eovaldi?
be Eovaldi, but Eovaldi
Yeah,
didn't pitch a full season last year, and he's
exactly.
only pitched a couple full seasons in his career.
Exactly. And that's another big question mark here. And then once you get down, let's say again you do lose DeGrom or Scherzer at that point, then you lose Eovaldi. You have Gray, Heaney, Dane Dunning, Tyler Mahle. Like,
And
look,
Maley's still recovering from an injury too.
exactly. Their starting pitching will be their downfall. If they are healthy, they could run away. I don't see them being healthy. They weren't even healthy last year, and they still were able to get enough to go over the edge. My number two team, I'm going with the Astros. Now, yeah, call Homer, all that fun stuff. The Astros are such an interesting team to me right now, as much as I hate them. They have also a lot of question marks, and they are the Rangers if the Rangers had a little bit better starting pitching. Like, they've got some good pitchers in Verlander, who again also has a few concerns with him too. Robert Valdez, Jose Urquidy, Luis Garcia, great names, and even JP France and Hunter Brown can do some good stuff if in scenario. And then the bullpen is very, very good. Josh Hader, Ryan Presley, guys. They did lose Ryan Stanek to my Mariners, but they still have got good names. Kendall Graveman can still do a lot of good work. I love him personally. And then the offense with Yanier Diaz here, Abreu Altuve. I mean, it's a great lineup. I have the finishing second because I have the Mariners number one. Now it's the homer pick. I understand, but hear me out for a second. What Max said what you said a minute ago about the lineup and how much they worked on, how well the offseason worked, that's really true in my opinion. Looking at what they have done, they have only really added. Like, yes, you lost a few names. You lost Teoscar Hernandez to the Dodgers. You lost Eugenio Suarez to the Diamondbacks.
D-backs. Yep.
Yeah. And Tom Murphy to the Giants. But you've replaced all of them exceptionally well, in my opinion. You replaced now Teoscar Hernandez with Luke Raley, who right now is priming to have a big year. If you've been seeing him in spring training, the dude has been running. Like, that dude has sneaky speed and good power. You lost Suarez. Now you have the duo Josh Rojas and Luis Urias, who, even with all the concerns to Urias with everything, has actually looked really good in spring. The guy's been hitting. He's been playing decent defense. Like, okay, you know what? Maybe we can give him a chance, especially if you don't have to play him every day. And then you lose your backup catcher in Tom Murphy, and you replace it with a defensive ace in Seby Zavala, who has also apparently been doing decently well in spring training. Plus, it lets you have Cal Raleigh for the entire year. You then address your second base need with getting Jorge Polanco, giving yourself a much needed veteran presence that can also switch hit and will be there every single day. I've seen a ton of improvement from the team. Call it maybe some rose-tinted glasses, but the starting pitching is, in my opinion, far and away the best starting rotation in all of baseball, and yet they don't have question marks with them. Luis Castillo hasn't been injured much. Kirby, not been injured much. Gilbert, not been injured much. The real question marks come down to guys like Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, and even they have tremendous upside. the bullpen is stupidly good too, with players again like Andres Munoz, with guys like the newly added Ryan Stanek too. That even without guys like Brashan Santos for a little bit, you still have reliable arms back there. So I think that when you put all of it together, starting pitching during a regular season will carry you. It can carry you. And when you have a strong offense led by Julio Rodriguez, Ty France, all that, that is enough to put you at number one in this division.
Yeah, I will say that the gap between the Astros and Mariners is very close in my head, and I think it's closer than people think. And really, I think, last year the top three were only separated by 2 games. This year, I'm expecting a similar outcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all of them will win about 54% of their games.
Ouch.
Splash, you really wonder, like, you keep saying things that make me think that maybe I should have fired you a while ago.
It'd be like that.
It do be like that. All right, moving on now to the AL Central. Moving on to the Central, and I'll tell you, I'll start off on this one here. For the Central, I'm gonna be honest, there's not a lot of good. There just really isn't a lot of good here. I have the White Sox finishing last. They don't have players. You need players to play baseball. You don't got none. You got Louis Bob, and that is it. It's funny, I'm playing MLB The Show a lot recently, and they have one player above a bronze ranking, and that's Louis Bob.
Oh my
Everyone
God.
else is bronzes and commons. I'm like, oh no. Again, don't take MLB The Show as being professional baseball, but it's a bit indicative, isn't it? A little bit. But anyway, after that, I have the Tigers. The Tigers are a decent team. I think that they're good, but I think that they still need more. If they're even going to remotely compete, even in a weak division, there's a lot of question marks with them. I have number 3 being the Royals. The Royals have put a lot of work in this offseason. They've extended Bobby Witt Jr., making him basically a Royal for life. They've added other interesting names like Hunter Renfroe to the mix that could make it actually kind of interesting to watch baseball with Kansas City. Plus, if Bobby Witt has the year that I think he's going to have, he is going to be scary to watch. Number 2, I have the Guardians. Guardians, I still think, are probably the most complete team in the American League Central. They have a lot of issues, don't get me wrong, but they still have a lot of really good pieces, some pretty interesting bullpen pieces as well. I mean, the duo of Clase and Karen Check will always be funny to watch. But in number 1, I've gone with the Twins, and that is for a few reasons. I think that Johan Duran is one of the best closers in baseball. He is so good. He can lock down a bunch of games, but I'm also going to predict here that we finally get the full season of Byron Buxton. And if you get a healthy Buxton for a season, he is going to be great. Do I think that he's going to be healthy? I really hope so. He doesn't have the track record of it, though. But for that, I have the Twins making it, but no shocker here. They're the only team from the Central that will be making the playoffs, and if they were not in the Central and every division did not have one, they would not be in the playoffs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
This is a turning of the leaf for Alex moment.
Alex is going to say
been the outspoken Buxton critic, if you will.
I am still a Buxton critic.
Yes, go back to last year's center field rankings, and Alex was the lowest on Buxton. So I would love to see a healthy Buxton season, man.
I here's the thing is that my biggest problem with Buxton has always been injury concern. When he plays, he is great. The problem is
when he plays center field, he's great. When he DHs, it's
no, he's bad.
Not so
great. Yeah, when he plays and he plays center field and doesn't get hurt, he is dangerous. The problem is actually staying on the field. So if he stays on the field, we're looking at I'm not going to say MVP level, but we're looking at someone who's an all-star and someone that can help lead a team to a win in an albeit pretty weak division.
Yeah, so I'll go on ahead with the Central and going to echo your sentiment with the White Sox. I mean, I don't know what to say about this team right now. Luis Robert is great. The rest of that team, I mean, they barely have enough to fill out a roster. They traded Dylan Cease recently, which I think, Eloy Jimenez is probably the next man out. then
Oh, I
they
do want to
have
say one thing. I want to say
yeah.
really one quick thing on Cease here. I think the White Sox did a great thing in trading him because I am very, very low on Cease, and they got a very nice package for him.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think I think Cease is a fine pitcher. I don't necessarily see him as an ace long term. And also they capitalized on his value. So I think
100%.
they know it was the right move. It's just crazy to me how far they've fallen from, they won 91 games in 2021 and since then it's just been down. Like they've reached rock bottom almost.
They really have.
So the White Sox are going to come in last. Fourth, I have the Royals. I mean, I think the Royals are on the way up, but Bobby Witt Jr. Other than that, I don't see a lot to get excited about with this offense. Salvador Perez still hits for power. Other than that, he doesn't have much value defensively, and you'll probably see him more at first base, more and more throughout the year and throughout his extension. So I have them in fourth, though. On the pitching side, I'll say this much. I'm really excited to see what Cole Reagans can do over a full season. And I like their additions of Seth Lugo and Michael Waka. They actually, I believe, outspent the rest of the division in free agency. So they definitely had a good offseason. I just think they're a ways away from competing. I have the Tigers in third. I actually saw the Tigers play last week. They have, some exciting young pieces like Riley Green and Colt Keith, and Spencer Torkelson, Kerry Carpenter. That's a solid offensive core. I just think they're probably a year away, I would say, from taking that next leap forward. I really like Tarek Skubal. Again, that's another guy I want to see what he can do over the course of a full season. So you have Skubal, and then you have, what are we going to get out of Matt Manning and Casey Mize? I want to see what these guys can do if they can stay healthy for a full year. So the Tigers, again, they're a team on the upswing. I have the Guardians in second. I think people almost forget that the Guardians are a relatively young team that won 91 games just 2 years ago and took the Yankees to Game 5 of the ALDS. So I think the Guardians, I'm not saying they're going to be amazing. They're going to win 91 games again, but I think they're better than people are saying right now, especially, I mean, how can people forget they have Jose Ramirez, one of the best players in baseball? The Twins, I think, most complete team. I've been saying this about almost a player on almost every roster, but Royce Lewis, if he can play a full season, you're probably looking at 35 homers. I'd say probably an OPS around 900, probably a 5 to 6 WAR season. I expect him to be an All-Star this year to get MVP votes. That pitching staff, Pablo Lopez, I think has the makings of an ace, and people forget he's not that old. He's under 30. So I think Twins have a lot to be excited about. Do I expect them to make it past the ALDS? Not quite sure, but they're definitely winning the division, I think. So yeah, Twins, Guardians, Tigers, Royals, White Sox.
All right, some spice, but here we go. I have the Chicago Braves. I mean White Sox coming in fifth. Michael Soroka, I'm intrigued to see. Garrett Crochet, I'm intrigued to see. Lou Bob, I think he'll be top 10 in MVP voting once again. Fourth, I have Cleveland. Their pitching staff has been bitten by the injury bug. The guys at the top have been consistently injured, the Biebers and the McKenzies of the world. Bieber is looking a little bit better. McKenzie has one healthy season in his entire career. Beyond that, the Logan Allens, the Gavin Williams, Tanner Bibees, they've been dealing with injuries during the off season. Karen Shack's been dealing with an injury. It feels like they're dropping like flies. And that offense is not very good. They were last in the league in homers last year, and they haven't added much power. You're going to get better seasons perhaps out of Bo Naylor, but I don't see the offense. Third, I have Kansas City. This was a team I actually picked second last year, believe it or not. I know they won 56 games, but they were a much better team than that. And they went out and acquired a lot of good MLB players. Especially in the rotation, especially in the bullpen. And I think you're going to get some progression from guys like Vinny Pasquantino, who was hurt last year, MJ Melendez, and one of my big breakouts, but not my biggest breakout, Michael Garcia at third base. I think he's going to be a Gold Glove level player and an above average hitter. He's sort of like the AL equivalent of Keith Brian Hayes, but maybe a tick below defensively. Second, I have Detroit. This is a team that's going to be able to pitch. Mentioned Skubal. He's a really popular Cy Young pick. You can bring in Kenta Maeda. He's back better than ever. Jack Flaherty. He's back. Casey Mize has looked good. Matt Manning's looked good. Jackson Jobe might be up at some point this season.
I'm really curious to see if he comes up this year.
Yeah.
I'm
He
very
looks
excited
so
to watch
good.
him. Alex Lang at the end of the bullpen walks a lot of guys, but if he can figure that out, he is as nasty as it gets, man. Then first side Minnesota. I have some hot Minnesota Twins takes here in a little bit, but Minnesota is just, I think, excellent offensively. They have pop, they have contact, they can walk. The rotation, very good. You have the ace and Pablo Lopez. Would have been nice if they brought back Sonny Gray, but I get it. But moving
Gray is also
beyond,
hurt currently.
that's a good point. So moving beyond Lopez, it's you don't have Gray, but I think you have guys that can pitch. Louis Varland. I'm excited to watch him this season. And while Yohan Duran is hurt right now, watch out for Griffin Jacks to be the closer. He can kind of get into some platoon issues because he's sweeper heavy. So maybe not every single outing he'll be the closer, but I'm excited to watch him at the end of the bullpen. He is one of the nastiest sweepers in baseball. He's going to just eat up righties. So Minnesota on top.
Yeah.
So we all had the same division winner there.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest, I feel like that was kind of inevitable just with
Yep,
this division.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah.
Last year we also all had the same division winner and it went poorly. So
I mean, this is also coming from the team of three that all said that the Toronto Blue Jays were going to win
no,
the
the
World
Blue Jays
Series a
winning the
couple
World
of
Series,
years.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on now to the AL East here, and I believe Splash, you're the only one who has gone first, so you will now go first here. What do you take of this very interesting division?
I feel bad for Boston, which is a
Yeah.
wild thing to
I
say.
agree.
That's such a weird thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Look, bro, I hate the Patriots. I hate the Bruins. I do not like the Red Sox. I hate the Red Sox more than the Yankees, honestly, which I think is a pretty wild statement. But they kind of get screwed here. I think they're really good offensively. They're kind of like an inverted Cleveland. I don't know how much they're going to be able to pitch. Giolito's out for this season. Nick Pivetta is fine, but I like Brian Bayo, Tanner Howe, Garrett Whitlock, Josh Winkowski. Like, okay, cool, whatever. Kenley Jansen closing the doors, but
Chris
they're
Martin, can't forget
they're
him.
they're gonna have to hit. He Cy Young Award vote getter.
Yep.
I have Boston fifth. I have the Baltimore Orioles in fourth. They to me overperformed
Whoa.
last year, and this isn't like a
Wow.
projection thing. They flat out overperformed. They pulled together their hits. They were a mediocre to slightly above mediocre offense, but all of their hits came at the same time, right? This is the kind of thing, the order, like, oh, would you rather have a home run, a single, and a double? They always had the right order, right? In that situation, other teams are hitting the home run and then hitting the single and the double in that order, and they're scoring one run in the inning, right? The Orioles are getting the double, the single, the homer. They're scoring 3 runs in that inning. You lose Kyle Bradish for a decent chunk. I am not sure he even pitches this season. I don't think Corbin Burns is as good as people make him out to be. A very good pitcher, but I don't think he's that top 3, top 4 guy that Baltimore thinks they got. I don't like Craig Kimbrell at the end of the game. So going from Felix Bautista to Craig Kimbrell, look at the 2023 New York Mets, please. And at least the New York Mets have Pete Alonso and Francisco Lindor. I think you could have a step back potentially from Gunnar Henderson, who had a terrific rookie season, of course, but sophomore seasons are no joke. And I don't think Baltimore is fundamentally as talented as the rest of the division. And I think they will be able to pitch better, that being the Blue Jays, Rays, and Yankees. I think they have deeper lineups. So I have Baltimore in fourth. I have the Yankees in third. Garrett Cole missing at least 2 months, if not more. Same thing as the Bradish thing. That could be an issue, but I like what you're getting at. You're getting at a Stroman at the moment. I think Carlos Rodon has a bounce back season. He certainly won't be as bad as he was last year. But watch out for Luis Heel. Did not pitch last season, but exciting stuff. I think he can bring. Tampa Bay, you cannot count them out. They're going to bring up Junior Caminero at some point in the season. That's going to be a big influx of power. Bounce back seasons from Brandon Lau. Continued growth from Isaac Paredes, Yandy Diaz, Josh Lowe. Classic Randy season and left. And they just produce pitchers, man. And I have Toronto winning the division. Gosman, I think he's banged up right now, but you have Kikuchi behind him, Bassett behind him. And that lineup, I think you get bounce back seasons from Vladdy and Springer and Bichette. And I think they'll be able to cobble enough production. You have a really strong defense, particularly the outfield. And I think Toronto wins the division. I'm not saying they're going to go deep in the playoffs or anything, but I think Toronto wins the division.
Well,
Wow.
that I will say that
That's
all kind of caught me off guard. I'm gonna be
definitely caught
completely
me.
honest.
Yep, I'm with you there, Mac. I'll go next then on this one. Yeah, I don't agree with you, Splash. I don't agree with you at all here. I will say, okay, I agree with at least one thing, and that's that the Red Sox, I have them at fifth. It feels weird to say the Red Sox in fifth. It just does. But I mean, when your opening day starter is Brian Bayo, who, don't get it wrong, I think he can have a great year. I don't think he's a number one guy just yet. But it's more of a testament to how weak their pitching is overall. They've got fun offense, they've got some interesting pieces, but not enough to really take them out of the bottom of the division here. Your number one, Splash, is my number four here in the blue. I have the Blue Jays in fourth. I am not high on this team. I'm very not high on this team. I think that their pitching is extremely over exaggerated. I think that they don't have as much of a good bullpen that can really make them get them over the hump to make up for the starting pitching, which has, again, some decent names, but not enough to really make me say wow. Their offense is going to be what needs to carry them, and their offense has carried them in recent years, and we've seen where it's gotten them. I don't think that they are as good as people make them out to be, or as you make them out to be. I think that they're going to finish fourth. My number three team are the Rays. The Rays, I can never count them out. I've, like you said here as well, I can't count them out. I have been down on them many times in the last few years. Go back and watch. So it's back when our name was Cheap Seats Chatter. And you will hear very much me saying that the Rays don't have what it takes to get going, and then they immediately prove me wrong. They're good. They're going to be all right. They're going to call up people, and they're going to have people that would be maybe bench bats on other teams. They're going to have them getting, all-star considerations. Like, that's what they do. Also, just want to give a quick shout out that I think that Jose Caballero, former Mariner, can have a huge year with the Rays. And I want him to because I love Cabby. Number two, I have the Yankees. The Yankees, I think, are a very interesting team to have a very high ceiling and a very low floor. There's definitely some question marks, especially when it comes to pitching. But when you take a look at that offense, I'm scared. I get scared looking at how many people they have, and adding Juan Soto to that just makes them even more frightening, especially with how that field is made out to be. So, look, you have guys like Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. Do they still have Anthony Rizzo too? Pretty sure they
Yep,
do.
he's
Yeah,
he's
back.
still
He's
he's
back from
still
his
healthy.
kicking.
concussion.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
yeah.
got like Rizzo, Volpe. Look, this team is stupidly good, and a bullpen that can at least get out of some good jams to it. They're number two. Number one is Splash's number four, and that's the Orioles. I think the Orioles from top to bottom are one of the most talented rosters in all of baseball. The big question when it comes to them, like it's been for a lot of teams, I've said, has been pitching. But theirs is in a little bit of a different way. Whereas other teams, you're like, do they have enough pitching to make it work? This time, it's do the people that they have replaced have what it takes to replicate what they did last year? For the big two of these are Craig Kimbrell and Corbin Burns. Craig Kimbrell is going to be taking over for Felix Bautista, who's injured for the year, sadly. Get well soon, Bautista, by the way. He's a good experienced veteran closer. Yes, do you have some questions with him? Absolutely you do. If you do not, then there is something you need to reconsider. But I still think that he's an experienced guy, knows how to get the job done. He's done pretty well in the last couple of years in this kind of renaissance that he's been going through. And then Corbin Burns is a former Cy Young Award winner and is one of the best arms in the game. You put him now in Baltimore and you put him with a full winning team, I think he is going to fully be the ace of that team. I think that the Orioles they did overperform last year, but they're still stupidly good. They are still going to be very, very solid. And that will result in winning the division.
So I'm going to echo what you guys have been saying about the Red Sox. You put them in the AL Central. Let's put it that way, because I think the AL West is really good. Put them in the AL Central, they probably win the division. I think they're a good enough team. They have enough talent on their roster that they could probably win the AL Central. That being said, in this juggernaut known as the AL East, they're not getting higher than last place. I don't see them winning more than probably 80 games, just because they have to face the other teams, about 50 times. I also have the Blue Jays in fourth. Again, I'm not super high on them. I think Kevin Gausman, he's not going to miss much time, but can you count on an aging Chris Bassett and Yusei Kikuchi? Jose Barrios, I think, is a fine pitcher. What are you going to get out of Alek Manoah? He was a disaster last year. I'm not saying he's going to be as bad as he was last year, but I'm not expecting him to return to the heights that he had in 2022. And then now Jordan Romano's hurt for a little bit, as is Eric Swanson. So now their bullpen has some muddy waters over there. So I have them in fourth. The Rays I have in third. The Rays, I think, are a solid group. That being said, with all the injuries to their rotation, not having Rasmussen, Spring, and McClanahan, and they traded Glasnow, that's your four best starters from a year ago are not going to be on the team this year. I don't see how they will succeed replacing that. I'm really high on Ryan Pepiot. I'll tell you that much. I think he's going to be good. The rest of that rotation is just a massive question mark. I don't doubt their bullpen, but I will say relying on your bullpen to get you through 162 games, I think is, they're going to tire out at some point. This is why I've been low on the Brewers in the past, because they were heavily relying on just Josh Hader and Devin Williams, but eventually their arms are going to tire. So I have them in third. I have the Yankees in second. Now, I will say, if the Yankees had Garrett Cole this year, or to start the year for the full season, I would consider them to win the division. I think the gap between the Yankees and the Orioles is closer than people think. I think if Cole does get healthy, he's the best pitcher in baseball. I think he's fantastic, and he's leading a rotation that I think is almost underrated in some ways. But without Cole, they kind of lack a true ace. I expect Carlos Rodon to bounce back, but I think they're in second. I think Juan Soto in a contract year is going to do some scary things. And I expect Anthony Volpe to take a step forward. The number one concern I have with the Yankees is health. What are you going to get out of Giancarlo Stanton? He's looked great in the spring, but will he be healthy? Aaron Judge, again, he played at an MVP level when he was on the field, but he also missed, 6 weeks or so with a toe injury. So that's my concerns with the Yankees. I have the Orioles winning the division, and I am going to echo that they did overperform in some ways last year. Like, I'm not expecting Ryan O'Hearn to be an all-star caliber hitter again, but I am expecting Jackson Holliday to come up this year. Expecting pretty big things from Holliday. I also think Colton Cowser is going to have a good year. And, they're a young team. I expect almost everyone to take a step forward. Kyle Bradish, I think, was probably the biggest overperformer on the team in my book last year, but he is hurt right now. But I do expect Grayson Rodriguez to be much better. And like I said about Soto, Corbin Burns is in a contract year too. I expect a huge year from Burns. Maybe not quite as good as he was in 2021, but I think he's going to be the ace of that staff. So the Orioles, I think, win the division. Yankees snag second and get that final wild card spot.
I get that, and I can see how that would work well as well. So I should say let's go real quick and just say who our playoff contenders are. For me, taking the first seed will be the Orioles with how good they are. I think they're going to just win the most in the American League, followed by the Seattle Mariners taking the second seed, the Twins being the third, the Astros getting the fourth, the Yankees taking the fifth, and the Rays taking the sixth.
I have Orioles 1, Astros 2, Twins 3, Mariners 4, Rangers 5, and Yankees 6.
All right, I'm going to build up some tension. Number 6, Yankees. Number 5, Rays. Number 4, Astros. Number 3, Blue Jays. Number 2, Rangers. And the number 1 team, the best record in the American League, the healthy Minnesota Twins.
This is wild.
My hot take for the season, I don't remember which account posted, my apologies. Buxton plus Correa plus Lewis will play 400 games this season. That's about 133 apiece. The Minnesota Twins will win 95 games this season.
I know.
I want to believe you, but I can't right now.
Yeah, I want them to be good because I think it's interesting to see them good. Plus, I don't like them having the Tease moniker instead of the Twins being just the Tease. But
Well, they finally won playoff games
they
this past
finally
year.
did. Yeah,
Well,
congratulations. You won one. You
Okay,
did
they
it,
played
boys.
their Pythagorean win-loss last year, 93 and 69.
Yeah, and how did they actually do?
They won 87 games last year, and that was with Royce Lewis playing like a third of the season. So Lewis played 58 games. Buxton played half the year at DH, not playing Gold Glove level center field. Edward Julian didn't play 50 games. Correa missed a month and was like hurt and like couldn't run the bases.
Here's my thing,
saying.
right?
I'm just saying.
I understand the projections and all that, but there's a
This isn't
very
even a
clear
projection.
difference. No, I'm talking about the
Oh, I
Pythagorean
guess
win-loss.
yeah.
That's
No,
very much
I
projection.
understand. But I think this is a team that underperformed. I think they can be a team that's much
And that's
closer
fair.
to that mid-90s.
And I understand that, and I can agree with that. I don't know if I say that they win anywhere in the 90s, potentially, like it's close, but regardless. Anyway, with all that being said here, we're going to do one last prediction here. Way too early, obviously. Everyone, give me your World Series prediction. I just want the teams. I don't want the result. I don't want you to tell me who's going to win it. Just the two teams who are going to be in the World Series.
I'm making myself mad here with this prediction too. I have the Astros and the Phillies.
You. Understandable. All right, Splash.
I'm gonna make myself mildly annoyed. Astros, Braves.
Okay, I'm gonna make myself happy. Mariners, Dodgers. The Dodgers are really good, guys.
They
Yeah,
are
but you
not
know
as
what
good as
happened in
Atlanta, and
October.
they are going to get dunked on by the Phillies in the first round. So
I mean,
sorry to inform you.
My point is also assuming they get rid of Dave Roberts at some point mid-season. They're just like, oh,
That's
we
not
lost
gonna. They're
3
going to
games
win.
in a row.
I don't know
Whoa,
about
that's
that.
They
not.
lost
They're
3
going to win
games
way
in a
too many.
row. Oh, time to fire Roberts.
They're going to get swept by the A's. Let's.
I
What
hope
if that
so.
happened?
That'd be
That
the
would be
funniest
hilarious.
thing. Baseball would explode that. I think that'd be the funniest thing ever.
They get swept by the Rockies at Chavez Ravine.
Fair enough. All right.
Sign
It's
me up
now
for that.
time. It's now time for our trivia segment and handing it off.
Wait, awards,
Wait,
awards,
hang
Oh
on,
yeah,
Alex.
we
hang
gotta do
on.
awards. You're right. We gotta
Come on,
do
Mr.
awards.
Host.
Hey, look, we're running out of time, all right? I'm the one who actually cares about time management. Anyway,
We had a 58-minute show when I was the host. Respect me.
yeah, you had also had a 1 hour 45 minute, 1 hour 30 minutes. Anyway,
This is slander.
No. Anyway, let's go on to our awards. Welcome to Lost of Our Replacement, where the hosts continue to bicker at each other on air. No, anyway.
Good show is.
Good shows. All right, we're going to also go through our awards here. So MVP, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, Most Improved Player, and Slow Player as well. So by slow, we mean the fastest. So who would like to go first for their picks? Splash, I want to see yours. Let's go for it. Let's start out with the big one in MVP.
All right. Your American League Most Valuable Player. He is entering a walk year. All off season, he was working on his bat speed. He's finally going to hit a ball over 110 miles per hour. That's Alex Bregman. He will win American League MVP.
Wow.
Sorry,
yeah.
Alex. American League Cy Young. I'm not going to go with the trendy lefties in his division, but I'm going to go with Pablo Lopez. He's going to lead the Twins to the #1 record in the American League.
I can see it. Yep.
American League Rookie of the Year. It's a Ranger, but it's not Wyatt Langford. It's Evan Carter. I think he's going to hit enough. I think he's going to be good defensively, and he's going to steal some bases. I think this is going to be more of he's going to have a more well-rounded case than Langford. Langford's going to whack. I can assure you of that, but I think Evan Carter's going to have a nice, well-rounded season. Most Improved Player. My National League was a guy going from bad to good. This is a player going from good to one of the top 5 players in MVP voting. That's Riley Green. I think he's going to have a 6-WAR season. He's have a big step forward defensively, a good base runner. I think he's going to have a 900 OPS, which is really tough to do at Comerica. Riley Green, Most Improved Player. My American League slow, I was torn between Julio and Gunnar Henderson. I'm going to go with Young Gunnar. Give the Orioles something, so Gunnar Henderson.
That's fair. I get that. All right, Mac, let's hear yours. Let's go. Let's rapid fire these. Let's go.
All right. MVP, going with another contract guy, Juan Soto. Not much more to say. He's going to hit like 50 homers this year. Cy Young, going second straight year, going with George Kirby. I'm waiting for it to happen. I feel like this is the year. I did this with Garrett Cole for a while too, and he finally won one. So anyway, moving on to rookie of the year, I'm going with the other Ranger that Splash mentioned, Wyatt Langford. I will say that Langford and Carter are going to go 1-2 in this race. These guys both mash. Most improved, I'm actually going with a bounce back candidate. I'm going with Giancarlo Stanton. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid here. I saw this man hit 3 homers the other day. Yes, they were all off the same pitcher, but that dude is going to mash this year. I expect 40 homers from him. And then my slow award, Esteury Ruiz. Got to give the A's something. That man runs like the wind. So those are my awards.
I appreciate the love for one, Mr. George Kirby. There. All right, I'll go with mine. My MVP. He was 4th in the MVP last year. He will be the MVP this year. That's Julio Rodriguez. You give him a better lineup all around him so he can drive in more runs. He can continue stealing bases, hit home runs like nobody's business. He will be your most valuable player. Rookie of the year, I'm also going with Wyatt Langford. The dude mashes. The dude hits extremely well. It is scary to watch how good he is at hitting the baseball. My Cy Young is also George Kirby. Watching how good he was last year, and if he continues, that was supposed to be in the sophomore slump year, and he's still dominated. How is he going to do in this critical year 3? I am so excited to see it. My most improved player, yeah, guess what? I'm going more Mariners. Sue me. This one I have a lot more of an argument for, though, and that is Bryce Miller. Bryce Miller was good last year, and watching him work over the offseason, he's gotten a few more miles per hour on his fastball, but even bigger, he has developed a splitter that watching him throw that is eye candy. It is incredible. That thing just dies mid-flight. It is so good. So I think if he implements that here, he may overtake Logan Gilbert as number 3 on the Mariners, and that's with guys that we may be looking at now 3 to 4 players just on the Mariners who will receive Cy Young consideration. And then my slow player, I'm going Bobby Witt Jr. The dude is so fast. The dude just runs, and when you're able to get on first base, steal second, steal third, hit a double, steal third, and then or score on basically a ground ball to the outfield, how can you not? He is stupidly fast. But those are our award predictions here. Let us know what you think here on our Twitter or Instagram at LAR_baseball. But now it is time for trivia. Actually, time for trivia this time. So, Splash, I'm handing it off to you.
Hello, friends. I was actually listening to our preview pod from last year, the one we recorded before opening day, and our trivia for that was a Price is Right themed accumulation of stats. So we're going to run it back, but today we only have one category, but it's a big number. We are going with strikeouts. The number to reach is 2024. So refresher, you choose
pitcher
a player.
Strikeouts.
Yes, pitcher strikeouts. Refresher, you choose a player, and their strikeout total from 2023 gets counted or goes into your total. So, for example, if you chose Andy Pettitte, you would add 0 to your total.
Great example there. Yes.
Yes. So if you added Mariano Rivera, you'd also add 0. So don't choose them. If you choose a player that gets 0, you automatically lose. We instituted that rule halfway through the episode last year. But anyways, so the person
and if you go over, you lose, right?
Correct. Price is Right rules.
Yeah.
Okay.
The person who is farthest from the pin will always go. So if you sandbag, you will be naming names for quite a while. So please don't do that. So I think last year's actually ended in a tie.
I think you're right, actually.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
So Alex, heads or tails?
Tails.
Flip a coin. Siri is such a loser. Flip a coin.
Great audio podcast in here right now.
This is beautiful. All right, heads. I don't remember what you chose, but
I said tails.
He chose
Mac
tails.
to choose.
All right, Mac, choose your first player.
All right, I will receive the kickoff. My first player is Garrett Cole.
All right, Garrett Cole. If you choose a reliever, I might get mad at you. Also, baseball reference, I love you, but I wish you hadn't updated your page just quite yet, because I have to scroll down to find strikeouts and whatnot. Garrett Cole had a whopping 220. Can we load, please? 222 strikeouts. So Mac, you are on the board.
Nice.
Alex.
All right. I'll go up next here, and I'm gonna take the man who strikes out everything, and that is Spencer Strider.
All right. Strider had over 280. I'm gonna verify the exact number here momentarily. Did you guys know that Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Trey Turner got an extra 0.3 baseball reference score over the weekend?
Nice.
What?
We take those.
Yeah, from
Okay.
the 2022 season. So that's fun. 281 for Spencer
Ooh.
Strider. Mac, back
I
to you, pal.
I know that led the majors, so I'm going. Oof, oh man, I'm going to go with his name is Kodai Senga. I'm going to go with Senga.
Mr. Ghost Fork. Who's the pitcher on the Mets that has the American Spork?
Tyler McGill. Yes, he picked that
Tyler
up from
McGill.
Senga.
The American
All right,
Spork.
202 strikeouts for Mr. Kodai Senga.
Nice.
Alex, back to you. You are
All right.
about 140 behind Mac.
That's fine. I'm gonna go with one of the newest members of the Giants, Seattle boy Blake Snell.
Blake Snell, 2-time Cy Young Award winner now, so congratulations. It's a shame all these bozo teams decided to make these moves while we weren't recording news podcasts.
Right.
Blake Snell had 99 walks and a whopping 234 punches. All right, Mac,
Okay.
back to you. You are 91 behind Alex right now.
91 behind Alex. Okay.
And we're trying to get to 2024, right?
Yes, 2024
Correct.
is your goal.
Without going over.
Correct.
All right then. I will go with Luis Castillo.
Luis Castillo. I would imagine the one that currently plays for the Mariners.
Yes.
Okay. As opposed to the GOAT. Which is La Piedra. Also, some behind the scenes, we were thinking about content for like fantasy baseball names, and a certain Alex brought up Dwayne La Piedra Johnson, which I thought was the funniest thing in the history of the universe.
I want to use that so badly for something.
All right. 219 strikeouts for Luis Castillo. Alex, back to you. You are 128 behind Mac.
The 2024 Cy Young Award winner, George Kirby.
George Kirby? I don't think he's going to win the Cy Young this year. Maybe next year.
I mean, both Mac and I predicted it, and that's 2 against 1, so you know. But it's
that's a good point. 172 strikeouts for Mr. Epic Yarn.
All right.
Mac, you were down 44.
I will go with your Cy Young pick, Pablo Lopez.
All right. The ace of the Twins. Where do we think Jesus Luzardo pitches? Where pitching after the trade deadline? Miami? Somewhere else?
Probably somewhere else. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I guess probably somewhere else.
Fair enough. 234 strikeouts for Mr. Pablo Lopez.
Very nice.
All right, Alex, you are 190 behind.
Okay, we're gonna go with one Mrs. Zach Wheeler.
Wheels, opening day starter for the Phillies. I was actually surprised by both Strider and Wheeler as opening day picks. I thought it was going to be Fried Nola, like it should be, but they went with Wheeler and Strider. So bye-bye, Max Fried. Hope you enjoy your time in Southern California next season. Aaron Nola, he's going to be a Philly for the next 7 years, so it doesn't really matter. Wheeler had 212 strikeouts.
What total are we at now?
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
You are at 899. Mac is at 877.
Ooh, we still got a ways to go then.
That is a good point. Mac, your choice.
I lost my train of thought. Corbin Burns.
Corbin Burns, baby Burns. Newest member of the Baltimore Orioles, former Cy Young Award winner. I don't think he wins it this year. He might though.
He has a chance, yeah.
Yeah, he does. I like the hair. Too bad I guess he has cut his hair.
Yeah, I think he cut it shorter.
Okay, because like long hair Corbin Burns, he had 200 strikeouts last season. Is a vibe. All right, Alex, your turn.
You didn't say the total number for Corbin Burns.
200 on the nose.
Ooh, very nice.
Alex.
I'm going to go with a man that you were talking about just a little bit ago here, and that is one Kevin Gausman.
Kevin Gausman. I believe he led the American League. That's a good pick to get close. Two-time All-Star, former Brave, by the way. I cannot believe he's as good as he is now. 237 led the American League, and that brings you to a whopping 1136. So Mac,
And
back to
how
you.
many am I at?
1077.
1077.
You're a little over halfway there.
All right.
So about 4 names away.
I'm going to go with Sonny Gray.
Sonny Gray, second place in AL Cy Young voting. I think he's a touch overrated, but a good pitcher and maybe not a great pitcher. 3-time All-Star. He had 183 strikeouts last season. Alex, you're down 124.
All right. So then I'm going to go, shout out to my buddy Nolan here. I'm going to go from his favorite team. That would be one Logan Webb.
Logan Webb.
Good
My
player.
Cy Young pick. He's been getting annihilated in spring, though, so I might be cooked.
Maybe. We'll see.
I do want to throw out Matt Waldron of the San Diego Padres as a knuckleballer. He is second in spring ERA. I'm very excited to see him pitch in the regular season.
Same. I want to see him pitch too. Also,
Same.
in MLB The Show now, he has a bronze card, and it is impossible to get because everyone wants the knuckleballer.
Knuckleball.
Like
oh
that.
my god.
194 strikeouts for Logan Webb, by the way. Mac, back to you. You're down 70.
What's my total now?
You're at 1330. Mac is at 1260. My apologies for choosing a massive number, but I only have one category.
No, it's fine. You're good.
I'm going to use Logan Gilbert.
The other Logan.
That's who I was going to go with next.
Had the Winter Park, Florida native. He went to the same college Jacob deGrom did. That's
Stetson
cool.
and Corey Kluber.
Also, Stetson got dunked on by my Yukon Huskies.
Yeah, that was bad.
Go Huskies. 189 strikeouts for Logan Gilbert.
All right.
All right.
We
were just talking about the Orioles here. I'm going to go with Kyle Bradish.
Kyle Bradish, Mr. PRP injection. More like Kyle Radish.
Whoa!
Oh man,
that would be a halfway decent, actually not really fantasy baseball name. He's from Peoria, Arizona. Bear down, go Cats.
Also the home of the Mariners and Padres spring training facilities.
Yep.
So 168 strikeouts for one Kyle Bradish. So you are now up by 49 over Mac. So Mac, back to you.
And how many am I at?
You are at 1449. You're about. I should
14.
probably make a.
1449. You said.
Yes, okay. You are 575 away.
Okay. I had the name on my tongue. Aaron Nola. Give me Aaron Nola.
Aaron Nola. Good answer. Brother of Austin.
Good answer.
That was a peak playoff moment when they faced off against each other. 202 strikeouts for future Hall of Famer Aaron Nola.
Nice.
All right, Alex.
All right, we're gonna go with someone who I don't believe pitched a good bit of last year, not all of it though. Now one of the newest members of the Dodgers, Mr. Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani, the gambling man himself.
Nope, can't say that yet.
He is taking a gamble in people. It's not a sports gambling. He has taken gambles in his career. Maybe not crazy gambles, but he has taken a gamble at some point in his life.
Probably, yeah, we all have, but you don't refer
167.
All right.
167.
All right. So score update. Alex, you are 359 away. Mac, you are 373 away.
All right.
Okay. Ooh, now I did.
We're getting to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, the nitty gritty. The gritty nitty right here. The gritty nitty.
All right.
Shout out Dave Sims, by the way.
Yeah. Man, this is where things get tough. I will say that much. I'm going to go with another, maybe lower inning volume guy, but plenty of strikeouts when he's on the mound. Tyler Glasnow.
Tyler Glasnow, Mr. Oppenheimer himself. Did you guys see that movie?
Of course I did.
Okay. I have not yet, actually.
Oh my God, you have to. I'm telling you.
It's very good.
Yeah.
He had 3 strikeouts, but this season he had 162 last year.
Let's go.
All right, Alex, you are down by 148.
Damn, that's a lot of trivia questions to do. I'm going to go with one of the guys that's still not signed right now is Jordan Montgomery.
Jordan Monty. I still think the Orioles should sign him so they can have Montgomery Burns at the top of the rotation.
That would be great.
166 strikeouts.
Ooh.
So Alex, you've gone on the run. You are at from 168 to 167 to 166.
That would just
There you
make
go.
it to 169.
Yeah. Mac, you are at 18-13. You're 211 away.
Oh,
how many am I away now?
Alex, you are 193 away.
Ooh, I'm legitimately in a position where I could go over.
Yeah, I think I might be too.
Gotta
So
be
I'm going to go
careful.
with the guy who you mentioned a couple minutes ago, Jesus Luzardo. I believe he's somewhere in the middle there.
The Lizard Man himself. The Lizard King, according to Baseball Reference.
I am the Blizzard King.
Recording things like this makes me feel more confident that I could do live streams for
That
us
is fair.
at some point. Mac, he had 208, so you are 3 away.
Oh my god!
No
I didn't realize
way!
he had way more strikeouts than I thought.
You are at 2021.
Gosh.
Alex, you're at 13. You're at 1831. You are 193 away. But remember, you're gonna have to keep naming players unless you. So, although in this situation, you did hole out a couple times last year. So this is Mac has gotten to the precipice, and Alex, your time to shine, buddy.
Okay. All right,
So
we're gonna
193.
I just called him as my most improved player. We're gonna go Bryce Miller.
Bryce Miller. Make sure Bryce Miller, yes.
Bryce Miller,
okay.
the pitcher for the Mariners. Oh man, the fact you're 3 away, like that is. Just
I didn't realize I had hit man. I almost got blackjack.
119 for Bryce Miller. All right,
Okay.
so it's still your turn.
So you're still going.
How many away from?
You are 74 away.
Oh, that's
man.
a dangerous number. That is a very dangerous number.
Go relievers, guys.
That's why I have to go with a reliever. Or someone who got injured really early.
Yeah, just you can't choose anyone that had a 0. Just if you do that, Mac wins automatically.
Okay, I'm gonna take a guess because I know that he didn't play for a good bit. This is a chip shot type here. I'm going to go with Andres Munoz.
Oh boy, Andres Munoz, apparently a top 5 reliever in the game. I had him in my top 5 last year. Fair enough. Andres Munoz had 67 strikeouts.
Oh my god.
Alex, you are 7 away.
7 away.
I have to think of someone who.
So here's the layout. If you get 1, 2, or 3, you go again. If you get 4, 5, or 6, Mac goes. If you get 7, you win automatically.
Okay.
You're at
there's
2017.
A name there's oh my gosh. Okay. There's one player that's in my mind. I'm just trying to remember what his name was. He's an MLB journeyman who played like 1 game for Seattle. Oh, I'm trying to remember what his name is. Because he started 1 game, and I don't remember how many strikeouts he got. What was it? It's a guy that's been like around forever. Because like that's the thing is I'm 7 away, so I have to choose someone that has either like only pitched once in the 2024 MLB season,
or basically went full Chien-Min Wang.
Yeah, just true. Okay, I'm gonna take a full-on shout dark here. Boy. I don't think he got 7, but I think he only pitched 1 game, and that's Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray, former Cy Young Award winner. Here we go.
All right,
for
here
the
we
marbles.
Go, boys.
For the marbles. If Baseball Reference would load, that would be terrific.
It would be.
I know he got hurt early in the season.
Yeah, it was like start 1 or start
very
2
early.
He got hurt.
He had 3 strikeouts. It is tied.
No.
Oh wait, take that back. Take that back. It is not tied. You're down. You're 4 away.
You're down 1. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're down 1.
So you have to go again.
I have to do it again.
You have to go again.
Oh crap. I'm trying to remember any position players that pitch that may have gone to strikeout now. Because I think that's probably my best effort. Okay. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Did he get a
The
strikeout?
goat, the absolute goat, the greatest, the only Yankees pitcher to
I
hit a
saw him hit a
home
home run
run.
the other day.
He is the goat.
Did IKF get a strikeout?
Did
I
Isaiah
don't think
Kiner-Falefa
he
get a strikeout?
did.
I
don't
do
think he
not. I
did.
remember watching the game.
I
don't
did
remember if he
too,
got a
but that's the thing is, I
strikeout.
don't remember if we actually struck anybody out.
You can
Ah,
find this on Baseball Reference.
Yes,
I
I
know.
can find this on Baseball Reference. We're gonna go to standard pitching. This is off the wall. He had one strikeout. He
Yay!
threw
So
4
we're
innings.
even now.
You are even. Mac, it is your turn.
All right. I'm gonna go with the guy who I know made his debut for the Mariners, but I don't remember how many innings he pitched.
Oh,
But I
brother.
think he fits under. I'm going with Ryder Ryan.
Right. Is that an
Ooh.
RY?
Yes.
Okay,
Former
Ryder
Mets
Ryan.
prospect.
2023. All right, here we go.
Pitched like 2 innings, I swear.
From Huntersville, North Carolina. That's the state I'm in. So he had 2 strikeouts.
No!
Oh my god! So I'm 1 away.
Okay. Alex, your opportunity is right here, right now.
Okay.
If you get a player with 1 strikeout, you gotta go again. 2 strikeouts, Mac gets the chance to win. 3 strikeouts, you win automatically. 4 strikeouts or more, you lose.
Okay. Ooh. All right, I am gonna go with another Mariner here because I remember
Shocker.
he only got to play, I think, 1 or 2 games, as a reliever. That's Prelander Baroa.
Okay.
I think I remember this one because Prelander
Prelander,
Baroa.
that is a name and a half. Prelander,
Yeah, Prelander Baroa.
as
Yeah,
opposed to Postlander Baroa.
True,
Yes.
very true. All right.
All right.
Oh, this is intense.
It is quite intense. As I scroll to standard pitching.
Oh man. It be that time, folks.
Here we
Be
go.
that time.
Alex,
Yeah.
you are the winner. You have won.
Yeah!
What? No
Let's
way!
go!
Prelander Baroa got 5 outs. 3 of them were by the punchy. Alex,
No way.
2024. Mac, 2023. That right
That's
there
insane.
is the greatest trivia segment in the history of losses above replacement.
Wow.
Alex with the dub by 1 singular point. There you go.
I mean, I have no words. That was
was
electric. Yeah.
That's like the 5th time Alex is like hold out on these. Now, granted, this was from 3 out, but still.
Yeah, no, like
Yeah, you nailed that putt there. It's
dude, that was to win the Masters right there on the end there.
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Splash. Can't believe I freaking nailed that one out. I had another name, and I'm really curious to see how many he had. It was another position player. It was Mike Ford. Because he pitched
Mike
like
Ford.
2 games.
But I don't think Ford got any. I don't know if he would have gotten any Ks last year.
I don't know if he would have either, but I know he pitched like 3 games. But anyway, we can look it up after.
Look it up.
Okay, yeah.
I have this page pulled up. He's batting 455 in spring, by the way.
And they got
he
released.
got cut though. Yeah.
How do you get cut after batting 400 plus?
I forget what team he was in camp with.
It was the Reds. It was the Reds.
Oh, well, that makes sense then because the Reds have so many young infielders that.
Yeah,
and
so
they just traded. They traded one to. They traded for Santiago Espinal.
Hey, yeah. Seattle, bring back Mike Ford.
Okay, if you had said Mike Ford, that would have given you an L. So he had 0 strikeouts.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. You played it safer.
I played it right. We take it.
Congratulations, Alex. Let's wrap up the show because I gotta run to the bathroom.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, we're at the end of our show. That means it's time for our moment to ourselves where we take a moment to talk about anything that is on our mind. It does not have to be baseball related, but it absolutely can be. Who would like to go first today? All right, I'll go first. I can go first then. So I will start my time in 3, 2, 1. A day has happened now that I never thought would actually come to be, and that's me talking about basketball. I don't know much about basketball. I'm gonna be honest, even though I've called multiple basketball games. I'm talking about basketball because my Cougs got to be in the March Madness tournament, and it was amazing. Finally getting to watch this team get to play. It was so much fun. Their win against Drake in the first round made it to the round of 32, where they were unfortunately beaten by Iowa State. But it was so cool getting to see my alma mater finally make it to the dance after since 2008 was last time they appeared, something like that. Huge props again to the team, but also to Kyle Smith. And it's also a sad day as Kyle Smith announced that he is signed to be the head coach of Stanford. So after leading WSU to the dance, I can't be mad at him. I'm sad that he's gone, obviously, but you know what? Best of luck to him, except when he plays against WSU, and then you're a traitor. All
It'd be
right.
like that. I'm gonna join you with the March Madness talk. So
Okay, sounds good.
count me
Let's
down.
have you go next. All right,
Yeah,
you got
count me down.
3, 2, 1, begin.
Upsets in sports, and specifically March Madness, are the monkey's paw. And what I mean by that is when you have an upset, it feels good in the moment, like you get that like rush of adrenaline, but the next game gets worse. And every upset, the next game gets worse. And generally speaking, sometimes you have lower seeds that are better teams. So sometimes I get it, or more exciting teams. But when you have these Cinderella runs, Loyola, Chicago, UMBC, St. Peter's, it always ends. You don't remember how it ends. They usually end in a blowout. These aren't storybook endings, right? And that's to me the issue. You're kind of a snake eating its tail, right? The tail may taste good, but you're eating the snake is eating itself. So it's eventually going to die. And the Cinderella run, is eventually going to be over. And it's going to be a lot worse off because you're like one less snake or one less, animal. And if you're like trying to have snakes, then a snake eating itself is not exactly ideal. So I love March Madness. I love the upsets, but it does kind of stink. Even last year, like I'm a UConn fan, of course. It sucked having, no top 3 seeds in the Final Four, and those games, at least the ratings for those games suffered. Now I was going to watch it because my team was in it, but is the average fan watching a 4 versus a 9 seed or a 5 versus a 7 seed? I don't know. You're going to watch Duke versus North Carolina or Kansas versus Kentucky or UCLA versus Gonzaga, but you might not watch San Diego State versus Florida Atlantic. And that was a great game, but you might not have watched it because it was San Diego State and FAU.
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing is it's the third year in a row Syracuse hasn't been in it. And it's I feel like actually shout out to our women's team. I'll say that much. Our women's basketball team has been fantastic this year. So
you ready to start on, Mac?
Yep, 100%.
All right, 3, 2, 1, begin.
Yeah, so I just want to talk a little bit more about my trip. Like I said, I got to go to 3 games, and unfortunately, the 4th game I was supposed to go to, Pirates Orioles, did get rained out. But first of all, shout out to them. I got refunded for the tickets, so that's good. But also, if you ever have an opportunity to go to Florida or to Arizona for spring training, take it. This is so much fun. You get to be up close to the game. I got to sit on the berm for the Mets Tigers game. By the way, I got on TV for a split second. My friends and I, when Zach Short hit the grand slam, you could see us in the background. You get to see your team's top prospects. You get to see your team's everyday players. But also, it's a very family-friendly environment. It's more about having fun than it is about the outcome of the game. So I just encourage all of you, if you get the chance at some point in your life to go to spring training, make sure you do. Florida is not that expensive. Arizona, all the teams are close. So that's the other thing. Tickets don't cost that much. So to cap that, go to spring training at some point. You're not going to regret it.
Yeah, I've gotten to go to spring training one time, and I want to go so desperately again.
It was my first time, and I would be unsurprised if I don't go again.
Yeah, definitely. All right, but that's going to be it for today's podcast. Thank you so much to both Splash and Mac for being on the pod today. Here, make sure you go follow all of us on Twitter. You can go follow me at the Sports Guy 242. You can go follow Mac at Matthias _A_K, and go follow Splash at Mr. Splashman19 on Twitter. You can also go follow us as a collective on Twitter at LAR_baseball, as well as on Instagram. But from all of us here at Losses Above Replacement, we want to thank you all for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, and I hope to see you all real soon.